What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about what's seemingly been going around the internet, right? What's made pretty big news in that Madden NFL 21 is the worst user-reviewed game in Metacritic. Now, does that mean it's the worst game of all time? Does that mean it's the worst reviewed game of all time? Technically, it fills a very, very specific slot as the worst user-reviewed game on Metacritic, currently sitting at a .3 based off of quite a few people's entries in this. Now, it actually went down. It was .4. It was tied for the worst with the Division 2's. I think it was a DLC pack for like PC or something that had the worst rating. It used to be at some point many different games, but obviously Madden now reigns supreme. And, this is something, sad. Honestly, pretty darn sad. I have said before, if you guys have watched this channel, I know the NHL videos I do here are probably the smallest humanly possible, but I'm a big fan of hockey in terms of like the actual NHL, and I've supported EA's NHL, and I've bought/received the last 11 years in a row. I've gotten it. So, I can't speak for Madden directly, but I can speak to sports games directly in terms of that I have, been through it all. Like I can definitely relate to people saying that these games have gotten progressively worse, or they've a copy and paste kind of thing. Look, and from what I've seen with Madden, there's some really good videos out there. I think Young Yi said on his channel he had a montage video that went through all of the basically what Madden used to have that's now been removed. And again, I haven't played Madden throughout all of the years, but I can relate with NHL, where there are many things in NHL that have been taken out throughout the years. It's been very streamlined into just a few things, and even the years where it feels like there's all these modes, in reality they're kind of just they're really just repeats of different modes, okay? Now, I've said that the gameplay of NHL has always been, I think, really strong. I think it's gotten stronger. Madden, I can't speak to, but what it seems like people saying again this year is just, this is absolutely a joke. We've seen it before. I've watched Angry Joe stuff on Madden before, so I'm not like completely, out of the loop with Madden. I've seen a lot of people, talk a lot about Madden over the past several years, and really, we have seen this franchise go down, right? Just not a lot of innovation, very small gameplay tweaks, them forgetting sometimes to literally change the logo, like on the arenas or the stadiums, right? How it would still say, I think when Madden 20 came out, it still said Madden 19 on like the stadiums, where you could see it when they was showing the actual stadiums. I mean, that's embarrassing. I really don't know any other way of saying that. I think that's really embarrassing that things like that haven't changed. I saw some user scores where it's like some literal just statistical things in this game that should have happened, like things with rookies, things with free agency. Like some things literally aren't actually done the right way. Like they're still in the way that they were last year. They were just never updated. And again, you see this reskin, this copy and paste stuff just for money. It sucks. I think there was a trending hashtag on Twitter of like drop Madden for EA. I don't think it'll ever happen. In fact, didn't EA just renew the licensing for Madden just a few weeks or a few months ago? So Madden's not going anywhere, which is kind of sad. But you are seeing, I think, a general movement of people finally maybe waking up. I think what's been one of the most, not necessarily annoying, but like things that we've all kind of been focused on over the last several years is sports fans seemingly, I think they take all of these hits, but they're not really willing to fight back. And again, even me with NHL, maybe I'm the same way. Now, I don't play the Ultimate Teams. I don't play the Ultimate Teams in any of the sports games. I actually did back, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago, but I never did real world money. I never spent real world money on it. But I know, again, for a fact that, they make a ton of money on these things, and people just constantly play them. People constantly buy them. And it's a situation where I think those people specifically need to kind of wake up and see that this isn't right in order to get them to fix it. Because ultimately, and I've said this before, that's their moneymaker. They make so much money on the Ultimate Teams. You see FIFA's Ultimate Team makes them like $1 billion a year just off of the Ultimate Team for FIFA. Not the sales of the game, just the Ultimate Team, right? So they make an enormous amount of money. Why would they care if anything else has changed? And now, again, with Madden, you're seeing it. You're seeing people wake up. You're seeing, obviously, user scores continue to drop. Even critically, you go over the last several years, I think this is like the 4th year in a row that it's gone down. That this is the 4th year in a row, in the versions that the scores have constantly dropped. Now, I don't want to give EA an excuse. I don't want to give them an excuse. One thing I will say is this. This has been a messed up year. And again, I guess you could say I'm trying to defend them. What I will say, though, is these guys, and because I don't necessarily think people fully blame the developers. Like, yeah, there isn't a lot of effort, but I feel like it's more of the top level of EA obviously not letting the bottom people kind of breathe, where these guys normally only have around 10 months, 9-10 months to make the game, okay? They don't start working on the game literally the day the last game came out, and they also, and also in reverse. So they don't literally have 12 months. They actually have less than that to make a full game. So that's already not a lot of time. And then you look at this year, and this year has been, again, quite messed up with, working from home and all that stuff. Things, I think, have definitely been slowed down. And with Madden, this is one of those games, Madden, and I believe FIFA too, right, where we'll have the next-gen port. So maybe they were focused so much on that. Honestly, that's kind of why I've been more in support of NHL, the NHL game this year, because it's the only sport game that's not next gen. You're not going to get a free upgrade. In fact, it's not coming to next gen at all. It's only current gen. Obviously, you can play backwards compatible, but it's only current gen. And, while that's maybe disappointing, of course, I'd want to play these games on my PS5, when I get it. But at the same time, at least they're focused on what they can do. You know what I mean? They're not going to stretch too far out with trying to port the game to next gen, because we've heard from different developers that can be pretty tough. So again, I don't want to give them an excuse, but what I will say is you only have 10, 9, maybe 8 months this year. Say they have 8, 9 months. That is not a lot of time. You also have to consider that they're making the next-gen version, so that's probably going to take time. They don't really have time, I'd say, to do anything. So then I would put that on EA to say, well, why did you put a game like this out in the state? Again, they're having patches. I think they've already had 2 patches. A third patch goes up in like another week or so. So they've had so many problems. It's good to see people wake up. It really is. Now, is this the worst game of all time? I think there's been much worse games than Madden NFL 21, but I think it's still good, like in a general sense that, no, it may not literally be a 0.3 out of 10 game, but it's a disaster. It's still copy and paste. It's not making enough innovation. People are tired of it. People are tired of buying the same product year over year over year, and they're speaking up. And I think that's the general thing that's a good thing. You know what I mean? That's a really, really good thing that's happened. And so hopefully, because again, I agree with it, but I still don't like bagging on games. I don't love bagging on developers. I want these games to be good. Like, does EA deserve to have it dropped? Probably. But if they're going to make a good version, give me a good version. I would love to. I like football. I like the NFL. So, I would love to play these games. And honestly, maybe even for someone like me and people that are kind of outside of it, it probably isn't even as bad. See, that's the thing, too, with sports games that's difficult is everybody has their own opinion, which is obviously fine, and I've always supported that. But, like, if you're playing it every single year, you're going to have a very different opinion than someone who's playing every 2 or 3 years. If I play this year's Madden, I may think it's like, oh, my God, this is as close to football as you're going to get. But then you may tell me, well, Alex, it's been that way for 5 years. You know what I mean? And I can say the same thing with NHL. I think that's a fair point. I do think NHL has gotten better, but I do agree that if you skip maybe 2-3 years, I don't think you'd be missing all that much. You know what I mean? If I played NHL 18 and then I'm going to buy NHL 21, I don't think I would have missed too much over those 2 years. Although when I do play 21, I think I would be like, oh my God, like what a step up. But that's just generally what happens is you have to give them, I'd say 2 to 3 years to make a game. Instead, they're given 1, and that's why we have the products we got. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? Did you play Madden 21? Did you leave one of those user scores, or what do you think about them in general? Let me know in the comments below. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up, and I do a brand new video on this channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys for tomorrow's video.